Hi there and welcome. I'm Sarah with Track Shack and we're here at Track Shack talking about running while pregnant. I'm here with Kirsten Evans, mom of 2, soon to be 3. She's the lead fitness instructor and the owner of Baby Boot Camp Central Florida. She is also an avid runner, a run coach, a personal trainer, and she specializes in
pre and postnatal health. So been doing that here in Central Florida for over 6 years now, and I really love it. We really pride ourselves on being fit for the journey.
So if you are interested in running while pregnant, stay tuned. She's going to talk a lot about stretching, cross-training, and some do's and don'ts of running while pregnant. If you love what we've got going on, the information, make sure you like, you wow, you comment, you share with your friends. We want to make sure that the word gets out about running while pregnant.
Also knowing too, we're going to provide some helpful information today that is just not for runners. Whether it is focused on prenatal health, so we're really going into the do's and don'ts and just functional fitness in those prenatal stages, and then also catering to some of those runners that want to know what they can be doing and what's comfortable for them.
First thing, just some quick tips. Make sure that you're contacting or you have your healthcare provider. Make sure you consult them with any kind of new program, right?
Yes.
Another thing for me personally, swelling was an issue when I was pregnant, so you can come into a Track Shack and get your feet refit for shoes. So I needed some more space, and so that helped me in being comfortable as I was running during pregnancy. I also used compression socks throughout the day. That helped with the swelling. Another thing is taking a look at your sports bra. This is a type of sports bra that I love. And it was helpful as our bodies changed during pregnancy. I ended up going up a size and I was glad I was refit. It was a great investment. I'm still using it a year after giving birth because I'm nursing. So fantastic. You only need one sports bra, so if you get the right one. So going on to that, Kirsten, can you go ahead and jump into some, I guess we're going to do do's and don'ts, but you're going to do the don'ts quickly, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go through the don'ts real quickly. And just so you know, this is for all moms. Prenatal, going into it, whether you're a runner or not, we really want to give you guys some helpful information today. Just staying active throughout your pregnancy, and then there'll be a re-video with Advent Health that's going to go into postpartum health. But don't start a new program when you become pregnant. I know you may have saw you had a goal in mind for 2020 to run that half marathon or that 10K, but you just found out you're pregnant. I do not recommend starting anything new, and your healthcare provider will not either. I don't like to let anybody down when they come out to our classes, but adding some different activity, maintaining and focusing on what you're doing now to stay active for daily activity and function is great through prenatal health.
So moving, walking,
stretching, just keeping your body active and daily function, getting up and down. When that little one arrives, you're going to be getting up and down a lot, picking up those toys. So just remembering those kind of activities, especially if you haven't been super active leading into the prenatal part. And the first trimester can somewhat be a little bit tough to stay active. So don't feel the pressure of all the noise around you. Stick to what you know, what you're feeling comfortable with. Reach out to your healthcare provider, reach out to the resources we have here in Central Florida, and don't feel the pressure that you need to continue with whatever program you're with, or if something's not feeling comfortable, do what's comfortable for your body and what you're feeling throughout your pregnancy. And if you are an avid runner and you start to realize that your heart rate is getting up there, miles aren't feeling the same. Every pregnancy is different. This 3rd pregnancy, I've been able to maintain a couple miles. It's more of a waddle now. It's much slower. It's not as pretty, but the endorphins feel good to me and my pelvic floor feels comfortable. But previous pregnancies, it wasn't as comfortable. So don't stress it if you're having to lower those mileages or also lower that pace, or even try intervals. Walking and running is great, and you're still staying active and you're keeping that cardiovascular up so that when you get back to running postpartum, you're ready for it.
So you're going to talk a lot about some, and more than talk, you're going to show us some activities for cross-training, core building or maintaining, and some stability. So you're going to jump right into it in terms of some exercises?
Yeah. We're going to, one of my favorite exercises, I really love to compound exercises, and this one that we're going to go over today can be done with no weight at home for anyone, and it's going to really incorporate balance, stability, strength, and strengthen all those lower body parts that you need to for carrying a little one and weight bearing of some of that extra weight that's going to be coming from being pregnant. So we're going to go into that, the first exercise, and also remembering to listen to your body. Everybody is different, so we're going to demo this exercise. I call it a curtsy lunge with sumo squat, but I'm going to go over some of the things with Sarah as we're moving into it. Something, I'm in third trimester, this is going to look a little bit different for me, and what she's feeling as well, and her range of motion is going to be a little bit different. So in the beginning, the exercise may be a little bit different for you, and then as you move through that pregnancy, it's going to start to change too. So we're going to go ahead, bring our feet about shoulder width apart. You're going to take your left foot steps back, and left knee is going to go behind our right heel. So as we step it back, curtsy lunge. And as you can see, when I'm here, great strength. We're strengthening our quad, hips, stability. So we're getting that upper body here. If you're more in that first trimester, or even if you're getting into that third trimester, you could use some lighter weights here. So not always focusing on, I used to lift 10 pounds, I need to continue lifting 10. Even 3-pound weights, you're gonna still keep that muscular structure here, muscular endurance. But Sarah, her knee can go down. I know, we are still in it, we're holding here. So her knee can go down a little bit further. Mine, this is a little bit more comfortable now, is just bringing it here. So this is still really activating those stabilizers around my core, and my hips are stacked right under that rib cage, shoulders stacked under earlobes, and shoulders right over that rib cage. So we're all kind of one line, and that spine is standing up. And then we're gonna take it out. So that movement where our balance gets a little unstabilized in pregnancy, squat it down. You can bring
This
those
is where
hands
I
up.
feel it.
Ooh. This is a really great one. Stand it up, and those hips, you re-strengthen those hips so that squat is coming down and up, and then firing those glute muscles. Then we're gonna take that right knee, place it behind our left heel, and bring it up. So it's one. See how we lost our balance just a little bit? That's totally okay, but that's what you're training in this exercise. So it's just gonna move back out to it, and then back in.
Nice.
And then right back out, and then right back in. So we're getting our heart rate up a little bit, and we're also strengthening full body and focusing on those stabilizers here in our core.
That's awesome.
So that's gonna bring us down to the mat.
Okay. This is one of my favorites.
Yes. So you may have, I get this in my class a lot, this is a really boring exercise. Well, it's no longer, I think as many of us have noted and may still do to this day, is crunches. Flailing your body up is not really the best thing for our core and having those flat abdominals, or even stabilizing here. We're focusing on our transverse abdominals, which wrap around. It's almost like a girdle. It holds that baby in, keeps that strength here. Breathing techniques, super important when you're in your exercises, the breathing techniques that you're incorporating. So inhale to prepare, exhale on exertion is gonna fire that core, and you don't need to be doing core throughout. You don't have to have a separate core section in your workouts. But the bird dog exercise that we're gonna go into, I get a lot in class, that is super boring. However, we're gonna slow it down a little bit so you can really focus on what we're doing in this exercise. So planting your hands on position of your body and concentration is important. So hands right under those shoulders, softening those shoulders, tucking those toes under. And as you can see, crown of my head and neck and spine are all aligned. And I wanna tilt that pelvis under, so we're all kind of aligned, and my core is already firing and stabilized. We're gonna inhale here, and then exhale, extend the right hand, left leg goes up. And as you can see, I really want to focus on keeping my hips parallel
It takes
to
a lot
the
of
mat.
balance.
Yes, it does take a lot of balance, and you want to keep your hips parallel towards your mat, because that's really going to be pulling in those abdominals and
Hips
holding here. Holding.
Okay.
Yep. So you don't want to flail open here or turn your hips open.
Which is natural to do.
Which is natural. It's, your body's going to want to try and do that. And then bring it back down. And then you can also just bring your hands straight back down to your mat. Knee back down. Power mom, if you want to go ahead, I'm going to give you a little bit of a challenge. So this isn't so boring for you, but really great exercise. You're going to stop on the shoulders. We're going to bring it up. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift up. And then when you bring it back in, we're just going to float our hand under our knee and then bring it back out. And then bring it back in.
This is one of those exercises that they gave me in the postpartum pelvic floor PT, physical therapy. So I'm gonna recommit to doing this.
Good. And you can, a couple different ways to do this exercise. Doing just like that, 10 reps on one side. Maybe it's a little bit easier for you to focus on one side and then go to the other side, or maybe you alternate. So again, tucking those toes under, left hand's gonna go up, inhale to prepare, exhale, right leg's gonna kick back and lift up. The other thing to remember is when you're lifting up, you wanna try and get that back leg up, keeping the hips parallel, but if it needs to go a little bit lower, that's okay. As you build that glute strength and fire back here into those glutes, you'll be able to lift that knee up and make it parallel with those hips.
Feel it, I feel it.
And then bring it back down.
That's awesome.
So 2 exercises focusing on core foundation, stability, and then moving into that full body. We did that curtsy lunge sumo squat. So
You want to do one quick of the foot?
yes,
stretch?
we're gonna go into two stretch exercises. Actually 3 that I really love.
So those were the cross training. So that's one do. So do some cross training. These 2 exercises.
Also, yes, do cross training throughout your pregnancy. And it doesn't, as you can see, the 2 exercises we did had nothing to do with weights. It was just full body weight exercises. So it doesn't need to be anything. Thinking of daily activity and function and focusing on those movements, getting up and down. Great exercise, just sitting down. We're gonna go into one more and then we're gonna get this is simply an exercise we do in our classes. Sit down, get up.
Oh man.
Sit down, get up. That's it. Really great because you're building your
That's hard.
it gets that heart rate up. It gets that heart rate up a little bit. So just really understanding that it doesn't need to be crazy strenuous, and we don't need to use a lot of heavy weight throughout our prenatal experience.
Daily function, like you said. Daily
exactly.
Function. So that third do is stretching, right?
Yes, and remembering to listen. Yeah, the first was listening to your body, cross train, and then last one stretching. So we're gonna go back down to our mats.
How's your Braxton Hicks going?
Great. So we're gonna go ahead again, plant our hands. This is just a really great calf and hamstring stretch. So we're gonna bring it back into high plank. If you're not there yet, that's okay. You're just gonna pretty much keep your left knee down.
Okay.
Actually, I'll switch. Right knee down.
Okay.
Shoot your left leg back.
Ooh, that feels great.
So we're gonna press our heel to the back of the room. So if you can see, the back of my heel is pressed. Oh my gosh, the stretching that's happening in my foot, in my calf, in my hamstring. And if you didn't realize, your muscles all through the back of your leg are connected to your lower back and your glutes. So it's really pushing to stretch all of that. Minor stretches up here, but it's gonna release some of the tension that you may have in that low back and those glutes and those hips.
I had a ton of Charlie horses when I was pregnant.
And this is straight up in that calf. It feels very good. Yeah.
And then what's the other one? Your sciatic pain through your butt. Is that another one that?
Yes, this is a great one. And then many probably know, if you are in sciatic pain, pigeon is also another exercise. We can quickly go into that, and then it's going to go into our full body stretch. Okay. So we're going to bring it back. You're just going to bring that left knee forward and drop. So our left knee is just outside of our hip. We're not coming and tucking under here. We're going out to the side. Hips are parallel again, and then we're just going to sit right down on top.
This is my happy place.
Yeah.
I could stay in this
So
all
on
day.
top of your foot is back, and this is a really great one. Pretty much for anyone, postpartum, prenatal, runners, so on and so forth.
That's amazing that you found space for your baby within this stretch. That's pretty cool. So.
Or the full body stretch that I do want to go into, because we get super tight and rolled shoulders for new moms carrying diaper bags, and also just us preparing for little ones carrying those groceries in, so on and so forth. We're going to bring that left leg out to the side of our left hand. And I'm gonna go a little bit wider maybe. You're gonna want to go into what is comfortable for you, for those hip flexors. And your right hand is gonna just go inside that foot and open it up. My knee is down on the ground to stabilize and opening up. Great shoulder opener, chest opener, and reaching those fingertips towards the ceiling.
This is the money right here. If there's nothing else you took away, this is amazing. I could stay here all day.
And then you can just bring it back down, find your balance first, tuck that back toe under, and then kick it back. And then lastly, foot stretching. After 2 babies, I suffer severely from plantar fasciitis, and I think over time we take our feet for granted, especially us women who like to wear heels, and then we think flats are great too. But again, reiterating what Sarah said, getting fitted for shoes prenatal and postpartum, so important. And I didn't realize that until I became pregnant. I have gone from a size 8 to a size 10. Hopefully I don't go to a size 11 after this one and have ginormous boat feet. But we're gonna, so if you're here, you can take your shoes off. You don't necessarily need to be wearing tennis shoes. We just have them on for right now. But tucking those toes under and then just sitting back on your heels, you're gonna stretch all the fascia in the back of in the soles of those feet. We stand on these babies every day. We get up out of our bed and these feet plant themselves on the ground and they keep our bodies upright. And then they start to carry a little one and add on some weight during our prenatal stages. So we really want to be taking care of them and stretching them out just as much as we're stretching out everything else. So that's the last stretch that I had.
Well, you talked a lot about core, stability, foundation. So you gave us this really cool analogy when we spoke before. So if you can quickly go through what this pelvic floor is and what it looks like and why it matters.
So your pelvic floor is super important. Taking care of your pelvic floor and your core throughout those prenatal stages is very important, and really just focusing on, you do not have to have high impact to continue to get that. As you can see, my heart rate's up just talking. But I'm gonna go into before we get into the wicker basket, simple as changing your run to a walk, adding it in intervals, but just this is high impact here. So simply taking that out and bringing it into a jack.
So here, like you said, just get your heart rate going.
Yes. And your hands above your heart is naturally going to get your heart rate up. You may realize once you hit that 3rd trimester, you're trying to do all that nesting stuff. Those hands above that heart, that's where your heart rate gets up. So it's simple as that, and that is going to care for that pelvic floor, because as you hit that 3rd trimester, little one is getting bigger, so the weight on your pelvic floor is getting a little bit heavier. Whether you had C-section or vaginal, same thing happens because you are carrying a little one. So thinking of this wicker basket, all of your muscle fibers in here. We have, if pregnant, you're gonna hear the hormone relaxin. There are increases and decreases throughout pregnancy stages, and then also postpartum nursing. That is to help loosen those ligaments for giving birth. So all of these muscles in here too, with a little one sitting in there.
Oh.
Just like if you don't hit the gym for 9 months and you're not lifting the same weight you were, your muscle fibers are going to weaken. Just as we are here with sitting this bowling ball in the wicker basket and rolling around and moving and kicking and whatever else they're doing in there. So they're weakening those pelvic floor muscles. And we really want to, everybody's kinesthetic awareness of muscle fibers and muscular makeup is different. So thinking about contracting these muscles is different for Sarah and I. It's going to feel different. It is also going to be how you're made up too. Everybody, you have fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers, so everybody's different, and how these loosen and strengthen throughout your pregnancy is important to know, and we really want to build that function and that foundation back postpartum and keeping it strong throughout. So thinking of here to here, making this strong and functional before we focus on everything else of biceps, triceps, running, jumping, so on and so forth. So we want to be stronger here.
And you said, hey, avoid high impact when it doesn't work for you. So something that would be a trigger of something that is too much would be incontinence, which is a word that never heard of until I had 2 children, and now I'm very aware of what incontinence is, especially when I sneeze. But I do visit a pelvic floor physical therapist over at Advent Health that has helped me to exercise the pelvic floor. So
I think that's something to be said too, is understanding that not everybody's pelvic floor, the muscular makeup here is not the same for everybody. So not feeling bad, or worse, if when you hit, we do not advise in our classes until you're about 16 weeks postpartum to add in that high impact. So really understanding that every woman is different, and activating those pelvic floor muscles may be easier for some and may feel different for others.
Yeah.
So reaching out to a professional, if say you hit 16 weeks postpartum and you do a jumping jack, or during pregnancy, if you are feeling incontinence, and if you don't know what incontinence is, it is leakage of your pelvic floor, peeing your pants essentially. So
I hear people say piddle.
Yeah, piddle. So making sure we're able to keep that strength there. But if you're feeling it when you are pregnant and you're still doing some high impact, just take it away. You can still get your heart rate up. You can still have a great workout without adding in that higher impact and putting that pressure on your pelvic floor, because that pressure is what's down on those muscles.
And those are the things that could possibly damage you later on.
Yes.
So taking care of your body, making sure that you're continually doing exercise, stretching, that's building your core, your foundation, protecting your pelvic floor. These are all things that I feel like I'm taking away from this, which is fantastic.
And honestly, again, everybody is different, so you may think you are activating your pelvic floor, but I am not a physical therapist professional, so reaching out to those professionals, because they have really amazing techniques and machines and so on and so forth, that they can actually make sure you're firing the proper muscle groups, because there's a lot of muscles under here in that wicker basket that you want to make sure you're firing so you can feel strong there, and also throughout your pregnancy and postpartum. So that's also a helpful knowledge to know, that they do have a lot of that. So not just thinking to myself, oh, am I doing it right? Is this what my mom told me? Really going
it's beyond the
out.
world of Kegels.
Yes.
There's more out there than just that word. So I think the other thing is we have such great resources here in Central Florida.
We are very fortunate.
As you can tell, Kirsten is extremely passionate and skilled and knowledgeable in this. And so if you have any questions, comments, make sure that you're posting those and liking. We want to make sure that we are a resource for you. So if you haven't yet, go to trackshack.com. You can find out events, different events we have at the store, different events we have throughout the community. Also, we have resources with our partners over at Advent Health. And
throughout the community, don't ever hesitate to, whether or not you're coming out to one of our classes, or you just want to reach out to me. I just love to be really a resource for women in our community to find those professionals that they are seeking, or even recommendations from wrist issues to core and pelvic floor concerns, so on and so forth. I think we're very fortunate in our community to have those options and availability, but really knowing and digging through the clutter. Track Shack, myself, and Advent Health, we are connected to a lot of those professionals, so don't hesitate to reach out.
And thank you so much for listening today. We'll tune back in. Please tune back in. We're going to do a postpartum video soon. So if you do have that baby coming, stay tuned.
Thanks.